Hey, y'all, gravity. Any day above ground, live it. Hope everyone's doing well on this Thursday. We 1 week away from Thanksgiving. They still wilding out over Israel Hamas. Y'all know how we feel about it. I stand with Black America. That's right. Because I don't care what y'all got going on over there. So, yesterday we talked about Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro beefing, and we found it funny. We found it hilarious. We couldn't believe what we were watching, family. But yes, we could, because I have said on many occasions that Candace Owens is a mezegoon. Not a Mexican, a mezegoon. She was messy with that Steven Crowder Daily Wire thing. And now she's messy with this Israel Hamas thing. And Ben Shapiro got annoyed and they beefed with each other, went back and forth, unfollowed each other. And now Tucker decided to platform Candace Owens. And before that happened, Ben says something. Yes, he did. And we're going to show that. But before we start, Mike 4282, good morning. Denise Scales, good morning. SD Johnson, good morning. Mike said, agreed. I will continue to pray for those innocents having to deal with such tragedies, but that's it. That's it. That's all we care about. We don't want to see nobody get unfortunately deleted because two sides are having a sword fight. But we shall begin. We're going to play their words and we're going to analyze where they were right and wrong, because we're fair and balanced over here. So this was Ben. He said this yesterday. I don't know if you guys, let me see if I could zoom it in. No, I cannot. So basically, Ben said, after she put up that infamous Bible verse for the New Testament, which was, to me, a brilliant troll move. He wrote, Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit. He saw the books and said she's not worth it because her content is behind a paywall and she's not bringing in the subscriptions like she used to. It was all cool when she had the live audience. It was cool. He even let it slide that she characterized herself as a white woman. Didn't say a word, but this is where he draws the line. So she then wrote, you have been acting unprofessional and emotionally unhinged for weeks now. And we all have had, we have all had, she wrote this wrong, but okay. And we have all had to sit back and allow it and have all tried to exercise exceeding understanding for your raw emotion. Maybe it's because I'm smart and stuff, because this sentence made no sense, but I understand what she was saying, but okay. And I put up this because I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. But anyway, that's not what you came here to see. You came here to see this and hear my analysis on this. This was an interesting conversation, to say the least. Yes. OC, good morning. He said we worship money over here. Bye, B. Well, remember, she said you can't serve God and money. Okay. Tatum Man, good morning. And Jerry Bedford, good morning. Okay, let's begin. Let's hear what Tucker said to the Kundins. Let's hear. Fair use, by the way, fair use.
Hauled in Galileo, the Italian astronomer, and commanded him to stop saying that the earth revolves around the sun. Shut up, they said. Everyone knows that's wrong, and you're a bad person for saying otherwise. That's a well-known story, of course, and we laugh about it now 400 years later because the authorities were completely wrong. Galileo is a hero. They are fools. And we explain this by pointing out that they were religious nuts. They were superstitious. Nothing like that could ever happen now. But it turns out the one constant in human history is human nature. Not only does it happen now, it happens more than ever. Watch Candace Owens get widely attacked, not by one person, but by everyone for being right.
Did she really get attacked for being right, or she got attacked for being MSAgoon? Because I think it's the latter. We have given her the distinction of being the broken clock twice a day. She has that tag. She could pull it out every quarter. This is what we allow. She could pull it out every quarter. But she is not being attacked because she's right. She's being attacked because she's a mezegoon. She inserts herself into conversations that she was not required to be present for. This is why. This is why in the thumbnail I have the potato salad with the raisins in it. That is her contribution. For a Caribbean woman, she doesn't even bring the conch. She doesn't even bring the conch with her because she's from the Virgin Islands. They eat conch. She doesn't even bring the conch there because she knows her friends and family would not like that. And when I say friends and family, I mean white people. So she has to bring the raisin with the potatoes, the raisins in the potato salad, but it's all good. Kiana G, good morning.
People like Candace Owens and others have been flagrant at putting out disinformation into the public sphere.
The top performing post of the week was this post by Candace Owens, a far right-wing commentator and a favorite on Fox.
Brian Stelter, wherever you are, you still look like George Costanza. Anyway, this was the infamous video I kept talking about, family. She went on YouTube Live in front of over, I think her height was about 3,000, if I remember correctly. Yeah, her height was about 3,000. She did this in the daytime. In this room, talking about somehow George Floyd deserved what he got. And Chauvin should go home. And she was so duplicitous, and she knows she fucked up. She knows she fucked up because she took it down off of YouTube. She knows she fucked up. Because I saw those comments. Family, that live chat was live, boy. Oh, it was a clan meeting up in there, but you know what? The Panthers showed up, baby. Woo! The spirit of Bobby Seale and Fred Hampton was up in there, boy. And that comment section was even worse. Man, even white people turned on her. It was beautiful. She had to take that video down. Familiar liar. Hello, you seem new, but welcome. Kianji said, Conch is so gross. You watch your mouth. Conch is amazing. You got to cook it right, though. You can't just eat it straight out the pot. What you got to do is after you cook it with the vegetables and stuff, you got to fry that motherfucker and eat it with a spicy sauce. It'll change your life. I promise you. But hey, do your thing. If that's not to your taste, that's okay. Oh, you said no good. I thought you said it was gross. I thought you were trying to write gross. I was like, you stop it right now. You get timed out. You get timed out. But continue. Continue, you messy.
Denigrating George Floyd. It just shows how this website is a radicalization engine.
But she said that on Facebook. I mean, you had that on Facebook, but she also said it on YouTube, but you didn't say shit about YouTube, but okay.
Do have this sort of parade of MAGA world that are parroting Russian talking points.
Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Tulsi Gabbard, I think somewhere along the line, they don't believe this, but they think that it's in their interest to say these things. These people are almost...
I think it's in your interest to cut off this little patch of hair right here, brother. I think it would be in your best interest. Just come to the bald side, brother. Just come to the bald side. It's okay. You trying to invoke a little bit of Mr. T. It ain't working, bro. It ain't working.
Collaborators.
That Candace Owens video was the top video on Facebook this past week, and she's saying all sorts of things about George Floyd and denying any systemic racism problems. And so there's a deeper fundamental issue with what the Facebook algorithm and all social media algorithms, what kind of content they reward.
Others doubled down on vaccine disinformation. Folks like right-wing commentator Candace Owens, who told followers that she wouldn't take the vaccine even on her deathbed.
Well, there's one time when she used the broken clock and was right, because we've seen how that works. By the way, family, did you know that there's a lawsuit now in front of Congress over this? We shall cover it this weekend. JB Easy, good morning. DSB, good morning. So you got me thinking about some goat roti. Well, go get that. Go get that. Just don't eat it before 12 o'clock. People think you're strange.
Notice why they were attacking Candace Owens. What did she say? She said, well, actually, George Floyd was not murdered by a racist cop, much less by a systemically racist society. She said, actually, the vaccine doesn't work very well.
That's not what she said. You lying bastards. That's not what she said. That's not what she said.
And it may be
You lying motherfucker. That's not what she said. And you know better. Tucker. We're not doing this. We're not doing this, sir. Not this morning. Don't piss me off this morning. You already pissed me off. Wait a minute. I gotta restart it. For some reason it just screwed up. It won't let me go back. I don't know why. Tucker.
Say no.
Don't start. That's not what she said. And you know that's not what she said. She said he deserved it because he had all those litany of charges. He put the gun on the pregnant woman. He passed a fake $20 bill. He had fentanyl in his system. She said everything that white supremacists say. If George Floyd was going to OD on that street that day, you let him OD. He didn't need Chauvin's assistance. And you still got white folk 3 years later still trying to say that the knee on the neck did nothing. Cool. Lay down on your stomach and let me put my knee on your neck for 9 to 12 minutes while you're hysterically trying to say I can't breathe. And see, let's find out the results. Please. I would love it. You bastards, you. Continue. You're going to get me pissed before 12.
Oh, Ukraine is not going to win the war against Russia. And for saying these things, every one of which is proven true, she was attacked as an immoral person, a racist, and a traitor to her country. What's interesting, however, is that no one leveling those taxes ever apologized to her. And so maybe like Galileo, she's going to have to wait for her descendants to get the praise for her truth.
What descendants? What descendant? Oh, you mean her kids? Okay, sure. All right, whatever. We will never know who her kids are anyway, because we saw what happened when she posted a picture of her kids online. We saw what happened. So you will never see. You will see Candace Owens' kids when she's about, what is she, 34 now? In her early 50s, when they're going off to college. That's when you'll see them.
Truth telling. And we thought that seems unfair. So we decided to invite Candace Owens into the studio and congratulate her face to face. Candace Owens, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
By the way, you're about.
Lord have mercy. What is she wearing? Where my ladies at? What is she wearing? What is this? What is this? Why is she trying to invoke Patti LaBelle? What is this? Ladies, how do you rate this fit? Why does she look like she finna go to church? What is this? There she go grinning already. What is this fit? Why does she look like she's about to go to a funeral? What is going on? Well, maybe it's a funeral for her career. What is going on here? Maybe she's going to a funeral after this interview. Maybe she did. I don't know. Or she went at. I don't fucking know. All black, everything. We know what happens when you dress in all black. You're trying to be a martyr. This is a smart play, but she looked like she going to church.
To have another descendant.
Actually, yeah, 40 weeks, but I was not missing this. I was so excited.
so
I'm
nice.
on.
So you hear? So she's 40 weeks pregnant, but she wasn't going to miss the opportunity to do this interview. Ma'am, you live in Tennessee. Tucker is in, I believe he's still in DC. You traveled to DC to do this interview. You could have easily done this on Zoom. Are you trying to show everybody that you're a strong black woman? Is this what is this the trope we're gonna? Okay, sure, do your thing. Damn, she getting old. Look at this. She not even gonna try to front. Hey, why it look like she got? This is what she gonna look like in about 15 years. That gray boy. That gray, that white light hit that black and turned that gray, boy. That fur coming out, boy. Let me fucking stop. Woo! Let me stop. Somebody must have forgot to tell her it's not Halloween anymore. She out here trying to dress up like Monique. We not finna do this. Oh Lord, no.
Honored to be here.
Well, so it's a little weird to see yourself. Look, we all get things wrong. I certainly have gotten a lot of things wrong. I think it's fair to be attacked for getting it wrong. But if you get it right, and it's proven that you got it right, and in 3 instances it has been proven that you did on the biggest issues of the day, shouldn't the people who attacked you apologize? And shouldn't someone at least point out, hey, Candace Owens was right about that?
No, I think what tends to happen is they have too much ego and they're too proud and they want to sort of move on and pretend that they weren't as radical as they were in their stances and calling you a grandma killer. You know, if you wanted to go out the door and get groceries or if you wanted to maybe see your grandma because grandma shouldn't be dying alone, even if she is dying. So it takes a tremendous amount of humility to admit that you were wrong. People prefer to then pretend the internet will forget and just that they had more nuance than they did on the issue of the day, which is fine with me. I'm totally.
I mean, it's one thing not to admit you're wrong. I understand it's difficult to do that. I have to force myself. But to attack other people for being right and then apologize for it does seem immoral.
It is immoral. And
you mean when black people are right, when we tell y'all this shit's gonna happen and then it happens, but y'all don't give us no credit? You mean when we proved that we invented basically optimal we helped design optimal civilization, but y'all want to come around and say that we didn't do none of this? Huh? Even with documented proof. We deserve reparations. Well, the cousins. I'm speaking on behalf of Jamaica, even though I shouldn't be talking about them because they still loosey-goosey, but whatever. Y'all tell us that we don't deserve that shit because somehow, some way in your infinitesimal minds, we should be grateful that we are able to live in a society where the cousins created. I mean, like that, but we tell y'all that we deserve reparations because you gave it to every other group. Documented proof, of course. Oh, but you got a qualifier for that. Oh, they were war victims. And all that. What do you think slavery was? Dare I say this transatlantic slave trade was the first modern war that did not involve guns or people being bombed. Okay, sure. Continue.
When we're living in an environment where there is a lot of media immorality, you know, people would rather you parrot certain talking points rather than.
Ramsey Hamilton, good morning. Nobody insulted Monique. Nobody insulted Monique. I said she's trying to look like Monique. That's not an insult.
Then have a meaningful discussion and a meaningful dialogue, and they don't accept it. And at the moment that they start to censor speech and they start talking, you know, calling you names, like calling you a grandma killer, calling you a pro-Putin puppet, you know, it's because they don't actually believe what they're saying. It's just these are ad hominem attacks to dissuade from having an actual debate, and there always should be an actual debate.
Right. And when they never explain what you got wrong, they don't call it wrong. They call it disinformation, which is just it could be right. That's usually a tell. And speaking of, so I was out of the country yesterday, and didn't have adequate internet access on the plane to really follow this, and I don't understand the context exactly, but the internet was dominated yesterday by video of Ben Shapiro who you work with at the Daily Wire, I think it's fair to say, attacking you. Here's the video. I just want to get your reaction to it.
Yes, the question is about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this is disgraceful. Without a doubt. I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making, the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
So maybe there's a point in the video where he explains what exactly you did wrong, how you were wrong. I haven't seen it. But to call somebody, quote, absolutely disgraceful, particularly.
Did you see the way her eyes looked? Wait. Shout out to Elon too, because I like how he set this up with Tucker. You can't go back and look at things. I like how he set that up. But did you see how her eyes look when he brought that up? Like she was trying to tap into that pissed off black woman mode. She want to say a lot, but she can't say it because she's still collecting a paycheck. Say it. You can go independent. We discussed this yesterday, but go ahead.
A coworker seems like a pretty big step. What and I really don't know the background here. What is that about?
You know, there isn't much of a background. I saw the video when everybody else saw it when I woke up.
No one warned you about it.
Nobody warned me about it. It looks like maybe he didn't know he was being recorded. It looks like
Yes.
it was some sort of a private event. I got no clarity on the issue that he was particularly speaking on, and in what was said, I can't respond to it beyond what he's saying because it's just ad hominem attacks. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not, we disagree, or
Yeah.
I don't think she's correct, or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, exactly. And so I can't respond to it on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed in that, at least in that short clip, that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms.
Ooh, she just said he's dumb. Yes. She just said that man was dumb. Continue.
Of what I said, but I will say that I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attacks.
Yes.
I don't think it helps further discussion. And if that was me that was caught on a video saying that about colleagues that I work with, I would be embarrassed. So I think that the video speaks more to Ben's character than it speaks to mine.
Has he texted you to apologize or explain or anything?
No, nothing. I haven't heard a single word. It just was sort of something that he said. And you know what? Ben and I have many disagreements, so I don't think that that's particularly something that's interesting. We disagreed on the COVID vaccine. We disagreed on Ukraine and Russia. He has taken virtually every stance that has been the opposite of mine on every issue over the last 5 years. So I don't think that that's
On the
particularly
COVID
remarkable.
vaccine. Really, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he was pro the COVID vaccine. I was anti the vaccine. You know, we were all idiots for not getting the vaccine. So that's totally fine. I am totally open to people having a difference in opinion.
Right.
I would hope that amongst colleagues that it would always be a civil disagreement. And I would never in a private event stand on a table and talk badly about Ben.
It's
I
a
would
little
say
weird. It's a little weird. So he was on the left.
No, you just go on open platforms and just go in on black people. But okay, sure. Ben is where you draw the line. I'm not going to stand on a table and talk about my colleagues like that. No, you just do that about black folks. We're not your colleagues, but you do that consistently on tables, round tables, and live streams and your Twitter. I don't know if you still got Facebook. I'm sure you've done it on Instagram. Places where you'll get the most visibility.
On those three biggest issues of our time, is what you're saying?
he has converted his opinions. He's accepted responsibility. He said, I was wrong about the vaccine.
Oh, good.
He is, obviously pro pharma. His mom's a doctor. And I say to people, I'm very aware of my perspectives on big pharma, and I talk about it on my show.
Damn, she got them old hands, bro. She got them old hands. Damn, she got them Caribbean hands, boy. Hey, cousins, if you ever wanted to see what the Caribbean hands look like, this is Caribbean hands. You got the wrinkles when you in your 30s. God, dog. Thankfully, I ain't get them because I ain't overly stressing myself trying to be a meze goon. Coonin ages you, I guess.
Tremendous credit to the Daily Wire that they allow a difference of opinions, but I, as I said, hope that it would remain respectful and that
they really allow differences of opinions, and he marked you out when you went after Steven Crowder. You literally started a white supremacist war over there because you was being a meze goon. But all right.
Wouldn't throw your colleagues under a bus, so to speak.
I think,
in a
I
private
think,
setting.
think that's fair. And just for clarity, because I really don't know, is he your boss?
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about Ben's involvement. He's not the CEO of the Daily Wire. He is not making the day decisions of the Daily Wire. And I do want to make it very clear, because people are like, how could you possibly say Daily Wire after this? I have a very good relationship with the co-CEOs of the Daily Wire. Especially right now, the acting CEO is Caleb Robinson.
Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. And there it is. There it is. So that's not my boss. That's my colleague with power. Sir Nick, good morning. She just told y'all, family, Ben Shapiro is my colleague with power.
This is way over the edge. Like we it's not even over the edge. We died already.
This is beyond the event horizon. Like we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah.
She basically just told Tucker Carlson, he's on my level. He just got a little bit. His suggestion in the suggestion box gets answered before mine.
A wonderful person. He's worked very hard to be where he's at. We have a lot in common that we connect on, and so people don't get
hatred for black people is one
to see that, which is unfortunate. Ben lives in Florida. He's not a part of the day-to-day movement of the Daily Wire. The rest of the host.
That I did not know. I didn't realize he lived in Florida. I thought he was in Tennessee with the rest of them. You learn something every day. I did. Damn. So you just telling everybody where you at? You just spill more tea. Let's get it. Let's get it. I did not know that he lived in Florida. I did not know that.
Hosts have their show situated in Nashville, so we see each other every day. We talk. There's great camaraderie, and there's actually more agreement. There's actually a lot of people that are, as I describe myself, just pro-America first, and I think I've been that way consistently throughout my political career. Whether people agree with it or not in different moments is up for debate. But I don't want that video to become a reflection of how the Daily Wire works and the Daily Wire operates, because I have had a very good experience with the CEOs, and love Michael Knowles, love Matt Walsh,
of course,
Andrew Klavan. We all get along really great.
Where are you? You didn't mention no black people.
He speaks well of the Daily Wire then. So it's not, I mean, a clip like that on the internet, oh, Candace Owens is out or something. That's not, doesn't sound like that's what it means.
Yeah, no, it's a small group of people. We see each other every day.
Right.
Brett Cooper is another one who just joined about 2 years ago. She's great. She's up and coming. And there's a lot of stuff that we're working on. And that's why I think this video is even more unfortunate, because people see him as a figurehead, rightfully so, of the Daily Wire. And it allows people to, speak energy into the Daily Wire that isn't necessarily there, because he's not there on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, that's very good. So we take 3 steps back and give us the context for this debate. How are you on different sides of it? I haven't heard you endorsing Hamas. Like you're not. No.
Well, I have not endorsed Hamas in any way, and yet people have interpreted things that I say, or actually rather things that I don't say. It's becoming very much reminiscent to me, and why I have used my platform to say this, of Black Lives Matter.
Ma'am, the reason why people are allowed to do that and do it willingly on a daily basis is because you're a Mexican. See, when you want to attack black people, you're direct and to the point. When you attack somebody that you think is getting some shine, you're direct and to the point. But when it comes to situations like this, you try to leave it up open to interpretation because you don't want to box yourself in to one side, which is, I understand, that's commendable. But you have a track record of trying to play both sides against the middle. People don't like that. People do not like perpetual fence sitters. See, with us in the black grassroots, we stand with Black America. That's not fence sitting. We're telling you, we will ride for black people. Now, we may have issues with black people in the collective, but we also understand that the end goal is to make sure black people are situated in a position where they can be prosperous. You fence sit based on the issues, and then you choose to get down off the fence when it's convenient for you. And then when you catch a little bit of backlash, you go back to sitting on the fence and act like you never saw it. Or you act like you said before, I found out about it when everybody else found out about it. Yeah, bullshit. You're going to tell me your husband worth $250 million, whose main source of income comes from the internet, you're going to tell me he didn't know this? He didn't tell you this. He's not getting messages from colleagues saying, hey, your wife is getting owned again. Maybe bad choice of words. Your wife is getting destroyed on the internet again. Unless he just says, I don't even want to hear nothing about that. But all right. Cool. Continue.
Or if you don't say anything, they say your silence is violence. If you say something and it's even-handed and it's nuanced, which is to say, you know, during the times of Black Lives Matter, you might say, I don't support police brutality. Who does? I don't support racism. Who does? But also, I think that
Torian,
police
what's
are
up?
a crucial part of every city. We need to have policing in cities. So these calls to defund the police are immoral and wrong and are going to lead to more Black deaths. People didn't want that nuance. When following George Floyd, there was no nuance. You had to explicitly say defund the police. You had to post a Black square. If you didn't post a Black square on Instagram, by the way, specifically on the platform of Instagram, and you maybe were busy that day, maybe you were in another country, you know, maybe you just didn't log on to Instagram, you were accused of being a racist. I'm seeing a lot of that behavior right now when it comes to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a conflict that I have seen every single person, including myself, condemn what happened on October 7th. Because who wouldn't condemn terrorism? It's obvious who would not condemn innocent Israelis dying. But if you then say that it is also sad when an innocent Palestinian child dies, suddenly this is pro-Hamas, or you need to say, even when you're talking about how sad it is that a child dies, you need to button that statement by saying, but that child was a human shield. That's not going to be my response. First off, as a mother, that's not going to be my response as somebody who's about to give birth. When I see these images of children involved on both sides of the conflict, I pointed to the people that are mocking dead Israeli children and said that they are horrific. I'm even keel on this matter, and yet people think that you need to be extreme. So people that have become more radical and extreme are perceiving a moderate stance as not enough. And
Because I was about to say, you don't, people can disagree with you or agree with you or whatever, but you certainly don't seem radical on this topic.
I'm definitively not radical. My stance has not changed in terms of whether or not America should be involved in this conflict. Whether we were talking about Afghanistan, my comments have been clear. They've been documented for years. Whether we are talking about Ukraine and Russia, my comments have been clear and they have been documented. I mean, you can go back to me even talking about NATO expansion before things erupted between Russia and Ukraine, and having a meaningful discussion about how much expansion is too much expansion. How would we feel if we had troops on our border? These are things that should be allowed in an academic discussion. You should be able to sit on stage and should be able to debate these ideas without using ad hominem attacks to say that you're a pro-Putin puppet or you're pro-terrorism. Even in the aftermath of 9/11, something that we all remember as part of my childhood. I think I was in 7th grade at the time, and I'm born in the New York City area, so this was a very big deal. If a person the day after 9/11 wanted to debate the Patriot Act, it's not fair to call them terrorist sympathizers.
No.
Actually, they would have been proven right in the long run. That act, we give up a lot of our freedoms, and I think there was only one congressman, a Republican, that was against the Patriot Act at that time. So
Didn't she advocate for globalism? Didn't she say him? Didn't she say him wanted to make Germany great and have things run well? Didn't she say him wanted to do that? I seem to remember she said him wanted to, if he wanted to make Germany great again. That's cool. She's cool with white nationalism. But I bet you if black people start talking about nationalism, she'd be all over the goddamn TV talking about how this is divisive. All right.
So it's important, actually, when you start making decisions in a highly emotional time, that people sit down and have these academic debates. And there are people that are saying, no, it doesn't matter because people are dead, that you need to just choose a side, and that needs to be it. It needs to become tribal.
There's also, I can't help but notice that your views reflect mine. I would say pretty much. I'm an American. I was horrified by what happened on October 7th. I think it was pretty strange. I don't really understand how it happened, but innocents died, and that's awful. And I hated watching it. And I feel so sorry for the Israelis.
You felt so sorry for the Israelis. Cool.
Were killed. However, there's an emotional response that is disproportionate, I think, on the part of some commentators. I mean, our country's being invaded right now by millions of young men whose identities we don't know, who probably don't even like America, and they're now living here. Over 100,000 Americans die every year of fentanyl. I've known a couple. Those are real tragedies. I've never seen anything like the emotion from any commentator around those tragedies as I'm watching about a foreign tragedy. I think that's odd.
I think what tends to happen is, of course, we all have elements of selfishness within us. And so when it particularly pertains to an issue that impacts you, I was
Ain't that the truth, sister?
strongly speaking out against Black Lives Matter as an organization very early on as a conservative because I understood what the implications were going to be of defunding the police.
Right.
It was an issue that was important to me. I created an entire documentary to talk about this issue.
Yes.
And I held on for a long time, and people began to see that actually I was telling the truth. And now we have more death in inner city communities than we had before.
Yes.
These riots and these George Floyd protests calling for defunding of the police. And I think in terms of this, that's
Oh God. It's funny they keep bringing up George Floyd in the protests when the numbers came out and most of the people that were protesting were not us. It was uncaged white folk, but they still gonna say it was us. They still gonna say it was us. All right. I've told y'all in the past. I told y'all yesterday. I'm going to tell you again today. We have a major issue coming up within the next year. That damn white vote is going to doom us all. Get it, Mr. White Man. Something is really wrong with these people. They just love to revise history. Cool. You can revise it all you want. It's documented. And we're going to show you how it's documented. Oh, God. Wallow J, hello. SD Johnson 857, thank you for the $10 super chat. You said, here's some oil for this cooking. I got to get ready to go to the field. Stay safe out there. Continue with your lies. Candace Owens.
What's also happened is that people that are pro-Israel are pro-Israel, a lot of them, because they have family members in Israel.
I get it.
They have homes in Israel.
Yes.
And so they feel very attached to this issue. And, I was very happy to host somebody who was pro-Israel. He's a pro-Israel comedian on my show the other day. And I explained this to him. I said, you are demanding that we have this same response that you are having about what people are saying on college campuses. The rhetoric on college campuses hasn't changed. Did you not remember what they were saying, what professors were saying, the anti-white explicit racism that was happening, and not even just allowed in terms of student protests, but was written into the curriculum at these universities for years. People were learning this actively in school, that whiteness was associated with wrongness. You had college professors that were writing about this need there need to be less white people in America. You can find these articles. They exist online.
They're everywhere.
They're
And
everywhere.
that seems genocidal. I mean, if you're
It
saying
is genocidal.
like by definition, if you're saying being a certain ethnicity or race is itself a sin and we need less of you, I mean, that is the definition, is it not?
Right. It was an understanding of needing to breed out white people. It was unbelievable what I was seeing, and I was impacted.
She didn't just say that. I'm sorry, I got to invoke Booker T. Tell me she didn't just say that. Now all of a sudden they try to breed out white people. Excuse me? Hang on. I got to go on camera for this. Madam, excuse me? Who's trying to breed out white people? I had to pull up the headphone. I can't believe she just said that. Hang on. I'm finna help her right now. Hang on. Wait. Yeah. Candace Owens. We finna help you right now, Candace Owens. I had to go to the bookcase. Real fast. We finna help you. I'm going to need, you know what? If somebody can get me her address, I'll do it for the family. I'll even take the coon comments. It's all good. Candace Owens, we finna help you. I need you to go get this book. Have George buy this book for you for Christmas. I know y'all probably gonna go to the UK for that. There might be a black bookstore over there, but you might go in there and the what the word is, the Sambo meter might go off, and they might not let you in. But if you find a black bookstore that's on code, over there in the UK, if you go there for Christmas, I'm going to need you to get this book. Real talk. I'm going to need you to get this book. Now, I know you're not an African American, you're Caribbean American, but I think this would work for you. This is Shahrazad Ali's, shout out to the sister, her updated version of Are You Still a Slave? Yeah, I'm going to need you to get this. Now, it's a book, it's a quiz, right? So you can have George ask you these questions, and you write it down. Right? It's about 50 questions. And it's 2 points a question. Right? And then after he asks you these questions, they have the answers. And then you look this stuff up. And yeah, we find out how much of a slave you are. Because I can't believe you just said that. I can't believe you just said that. They're trying to breed out white people. That's what she said. Okay. They're trying to breed out white people. No, it has nothing to do with white people. They're just so, especially the men. They subscribe to red pill content. So much so that they don't even want to see women. They go all the way over to foreign countries to get women. That didn't happen, right? You ain't got channels on YouTube and TikTok telling men that you need to focus on yourself and not have no females. That didn't happen. Okay. You ain't got white people following Andrew Tate and Rollo Tomasi and these other white male people that's telling them, hey, women are dirt. That didn't happen. All right. You ain't got white feminists that spent decades saying how bad men are. Well, that didn't happen. All right. Cool. Fine. We go back. Because that's just, I find that hilarious. I literally find that hilarious. But back to the video. This chick is on one today.
Impacted by it because I'm in a biracial relationship and I have biracial children. You are telling me that my children are going to have to decide between whether or not they are white oppressors or they are black victims. It doesn't stand for me. So I was attached to doing something that
What? No, Candace, we're gonna help you again. I'm not gonna pull out another book. Candace, your kids are biracial. That's how they're gonna live their life. They can play both sides, just like their mom can. You're going to want them to be black. Trust me when I say that. You ain't going to want them to be white. You're going to want them to be black. I'm going to help you. You want your kids to be black. You want them to live up to the vision that your grandfather set for you. Rest in peace to that man. You want that. That's what you want. You know they can't pass for white. You know that. When they get older, the mixture is really going to come together. They're not going to be able to pass for white. You're going to tell them they're black and white, and they're going to play black because they're going to see that black is more profitable and it's cooler. I promise you. Or maybe they'll play fake British. Who knows?
I fought for hard on college campuses, and there was no support. There was nobody talking about, well, this is what needs to go. These kids need to go onto blacklists. And by the way, if they did speak that way, I would have disagreed with it because I am pro 1A. I believe in the First Amendment. I believe that kids, by the way,
by your logic of what you said before about bringing out white people, or didn't you just do the same thing? By that logic, didn't you just do the same thing? You did it 3 times. You're breeding out your husband's white lineage. Oops, I wasn't supposed to say that.
I are naturally stupid. In case people forget, I started on the left, right?
Yeah.
So if you found me in college, you would have found a pro-life person who believed, in some racist principles, fundamental racism in America, because that was what I was being taught systematically in the classroom. And then I got to grow up and change my mind. And
I have a question for the family. I don't know if Torian's still here. Do y'all want to take a bet that she's going to mention Thomas Sowell in this? I did not see the whole thing. I'm going to take a bet and say she mentions Thomas Sowell somewhere in here before this is over. Because now she's talking about college. I hear Thomas Sowell's name coming up. I hear it. But maybe I might be wrong.
think people have thought past their immediate emotions to consider what's going to happen when you put these kids on blacklist. You think that's going to bring them over to the pro-Israel side when they get older? Most of these kids, especially when you're talking about the cream of the crop at these Ivy League universities, already have access to money and wealth and connections. And so maybe debating the issues and explaining to them why it was wrong to sign this specific letter, which didn't call for explicit violence against the Israelis, but it actually was very poorly timed, and it blames them for what happened, which would have been horrific. Imagine after 9/11, somebody issues a letter on college campus that says, "Oh well, sorry about the fire department."
I agree.
Yeah,
I get why donors are mad.
Imagine,
and
yeah.
By the way, I support donors giving money to things they agree with.
Yes, I support that.
I strongly do.
Yep.
The part that, and so I had no problem with that at all. You don't like it, don't pay for it. Good for you. However, then I thought, well, wait a second. If the biggest donors at, say, Harvard have decided, well, we're going to shut it down now, where were you the last 10 years when they were for white genocide? You were allowing this. And then I found myself really hating those people, actually. That you're okay with.
You mean Harvard, the college that started off the backs of slaves? That Harvard? Huh. Interesting. Okay. Thank you, Tucker.
With that? On what grounds were you okay with that?
And this is what I've been trying to explain to the pro-Israel lobby, that what you were seeing as lack of support is people that are asking the question is, where were you as we have endured all of this?
You were paying for it, actually.
Right.
You were paying for it.
You were paying for it.
You were calling my children immoral for their skin color. You paid for that.
And
so why shouldn't I be mad at you? I don't understand.
Tucker Carlson, you've done that for years on Fox News. You just couldn't say it out loud in that context because your people would have fired you and you would have been labeled a racist in the mainstream. You literally did that during the summer of 2020. You literally did that every time an unarmed black person was killed. You literally called them immoral. And the way you did that was they should have complied. But it's funny, y'all never brought up Tony Tempa. He wasn't immoral. He resisted. I'm saying too much. Never mind. Continue.
Understand.
And so that is, obviously you have a ton of white people that are asking this question and they're now being called anti-Semitic. And I think that's wrong. I think these are meaningful questions that deserve to be answered. Why was this sort of verbiage allowed into the curriculum? I mean, could you imagine if in the curriculum it said that every Jewish person born is a terrorist? This is systematically what has been said.
I would be totally opposed to that.
You're learning this, not even just by the way at the college campus level, in high schools. I've covered this on my show. At high schools, that they are now allowing children to stand up in an auditorium during not Black Lives Matter week, during what is February? African whole month of February.
Oh, Lord have mercy. She's such a white woman, she can't even bring herself into saying Black History Month. Is this Candace Owens or Austin Chang? Bam, it's Black History Month. Bruh, she can't even bring herself to say Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry, not Black Lives Matter. She can't even bring herself to say Black History Month. It's only 3 words. 5 syllables. She can't even bring herself to say 5 syllables. Hey, I know y'all putting me with her because of the Caribbean contingent. Okay, fine. And since y'all are going to do that, that's cool. I have a response for her.
Free my people now. Free my people. Free my people now.
It was in Black History Month.
African American month. I'm totally Black History Month. I was like totally blank. I'm like,
and you got the white supremacists laughing at how dumb you are. We finna keep this. We're keeping this screenshot right here. Jace, he said it again. He's right again. You want to know what a black person thinks? Put a white person in front of them and let them ask the questions. So this tells you she hates Black History Month. It pains her to see all those accomplishments the cousins have made over 400 years with less resources. By the way, hey, white people, 6% drop in violent crime since 2020. And guess what? Black people have less resources than we had before the coffee venereal disease. So how about that? How about that? Ain't that something?
What is February? Black History Month. They were allowing at this very elite school $50,000 per month to attend the school, per year to attend the school, for these children to stand up on a stage and yell in an auditorium. Black kids were allowed to be on the stage. White kids were sitting down at this elite school, and they said, "You don't know what we lived through. You don't understand how your whiteness impacts me." This is going on in New York City right now. That is explicit anti-white racism that is happening.
Applaud those kids. Applaud those kids. Now, they're going to a school that's $50,000 a year. So there's a little bit of elitism there. But applaud those kids. Because they know when they go out in that real world, nobody's going to care they came from a $50,000 a year school. Now, you shouldn't let white people bother you, but, you know, they're young. They'll grow out of it. But she's upset that black kids are standing up for themselves. That's really what this is about. It's not about the rhetoric. It's not about what they were saying. It's the fact that black kids are standing up for themselves. Which doesn't she promote amongst conservative black people? They should stand up for themselves and be unapologetic in their beliefs. Go ahead, Griff Queen. Continue.
And I covered it on my show extensively. Nobody cared. There was no bus calling these kids anything wrong. And so trying to explain that of why people maybe are not reacting with the amount of vigor that you would like to see is now being interpreted as anti-Semitism. So everyone's being called anti-Semitism.
It's a little bit like watching the city of San Francisco.
Lisa Cabrera, good morning. Good morning. You say, isn't that what Candace is doing by having biracial kids? She's bringing down a white husband. Yes. See, we both had the same thought. I said that a couple minutes ago. Yes, she's doing exactly what she's so messed up now over this Ben Shapiro thing. She can't keep the grift straight, but it's all good. AW1, good morning. Somali against Pan-Africanism, good morning. She can't help herself. Listen, she's a mezegoon.
In the week before Xi Jinping shows up, become totally clean, sparkling clean. There are no junkies or rapists on the street.
Yeah, they sent all the homeless people to Oakland, but okay, cool. You don't want to mention that.
And you feel like asking the authorities, well, wait, you had the power to do this, but you didn't? You had the power to stop racism at Harvard, but you didn't? Why are you not a criminal, actually, for allowing that? I don't have you asked anybody this? Like, direct? Have you asked a donor this? I've been trying to get one on the show. I support what you're doing. It's great. Don't pay for what you don't like. But you did like the white genocide stuff. You're kind of okay with that, huh?
Right. And I've even asked, did you use your platform to speak out against it? Because I've been speaking out against this for years. And now you're demanding that I use my platform to focus on a conflict that's overseas.
Yeah.
And the answer I tend to get is no. I didn't talk about what was happening. I didn't realize it was happening. So it actually is quite a selfish viewpoint.
Ma'am, you didn't even talk about Buffalo, and that happened a few hundred miles away from you. But you had a lot to say about what happened at Covenant School because that was your neighborhood. It had nothing to do with you. You tried to play that victim white Stepford wife move, and they torched you for that. You got torched online, but Buffalo came. You were dead silent until you found out Kamami didn't want to go. Then you had something to say. All right, whatever. Screw you.
which we all have. We're all guilty of.
Oh,
I
I get it.
We write ourselves into the storyline. How is this going to impact me? And that is, I think, is why it feels existential for other people and not existential for people that have been dealing with this for the last decade.
I know, but it's a pretty simple principle that, I mean, existed at 54, I can tell you, in this country for a long time, certainly from, say, the Civil Rights Act until, I don't know, 15 years ago. You're not allowed to attack people on the basis of their race in public. I mean, everybody has different views, probably, or thinks their group is best or whatever. It's pretty normal.
Excuse me? Never mind. I'll let y'all legislate that in the comments. I don't even want to do that. I don't even. That's like a 10-minute rant. I ain't even gonna do that.
You're not allowed to say I don't like you because of your race. Like you're not allowed to do that. Why can't we just return to that standard?
What? I think Tucker Carlson lives in a bubble. I swear. Fine, Tucker. Since you feel that strongly, how about using your platform and telling white ignorance? Shout out to Amazing Lucas. White ignorance to stop criticizing black people based on the color of their skin. That would be nice. But we know you're not going to do that.
Right. And this has been a dialogue that I think some of us have been having for years, and people are just now jumping into this dialogue. And I don't fault them, their emotion, but I'm not going to become a radical and rise to that level of emotion.
You're already there.
I've been very moderate. Even people that are reading into things that I haven't said are unable to explain to me why what I'm saying is not okay. They can't point to a specific sentence that I said that was wrong. It's more about how they're reading into the sentence, which if it's how you are reading into it, that is your emotion. And as I said, my views have not shifted since I got into the political sphere. I have always been pro First Amendment. I have always been pro staying out of foreign conflicts. And I'm sorry if that feels to you like a personal attack. There's this wonderful Thomas Sowell quote where he says that
there it is. I told y'all it was coming. I told y'all it was coming. Yes, she used to be Red Pill Black, the doxer on the left side. There, I told you as soon as she said earlier about leaving college and talking about her experience getting to the right, I said, Thomas Sowell finna show up. She's gonna say his name. And there it is. They keep proving to me that this man is a whole government plant. I ain't never seen somebody name brought up that much in political discussions that have nothing to do with social justice. They don't even talk about this man when it comes to economics. And he's an economist. Candace Owens needs advice on the stock market or how an economy works. She'd probably call up Jim Cramer first before she called Thomas Sowell. You can't make this up. Next, so since we got that, I'm pretty sure we're going to hear this next for her final thought. I'm pretty sure we're about to hear this.
I told y'all bitches I had dick at the bottom and titty at the top, bitch, from day one when the door fucking opened.
Pause! I bet you she's going to say that at the end of this, or she'll say this when she leaves the Daily Wire. Quatman, good morning. She reminds me of that Madam Puppet that used to come on. You leave Madam alone. Madam was a gangster. You leave Madam alone. She's nowhere near Madam. Madam didn't care. And she was an old, decrepit white woman. So she has ultimate privilege. Hurricane IQ, good morning. How are Thomas Sowell's BS talking boys more convincing in them than the actual facts? Because it's Thomas Sowell, the government plant. He makes them feel good. 42 tribes, good morning. You cast a 40-second like? Cool. Make sure y'all hit the like, and when you share it, send it to your people's phone. Do not send it to them in links. I want everybody to see this. Soul Survivor. Sorry, I'm so late, everyone. B1K Gravity. Happy belated birthday. Thank you. You need a female crispy puppet? Nah. I think we're good where we're at because if Tariq fucked around and made a female crispy puppet, he gonna get heat. He don't need that type of heat.
People that are used to special treatment, when you start to treat them the same, feel like they're being discriminated against. He says it much more eloquently. He's Dr. Thomas Sowell, but that's the gist of it.
Damn, she said it 3 times. He finna pop up.
And I think that what we're seeing right now is things that are being perceived as a discrimination, and it's not discrimination. I'm just treating you the same as everyone has been treated. And throughout at least my dialogue and the things and monologues throughout the last 6 or 7 years.
Yes.
And I do also want to say that I find it particularly despicable, as I have said on my platform, when people who are pro-Israel are now being called anti-Semites for asking meaningful questions. I talked about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, following the attacks on October 7th, turned to the Israeli government and said, how did this happen? You know, he talked about Israel being the size of New Jersey. He's been there many times. He funds thousands of students to go there and to visit. He's honestly radically pro-Israel, I would almost say. It's probably a fair thing to say about Charlie Kirk. Yeah. And he was asking these questions with the intent of, if these were your children and they were involved in this horrific attack, wouldn't you want to know these answers? He's like, you can't move 5 feet without seeing an IDF soldier. I've been to Israel, and that is a fact.
I have too, a number of times, and I admire their border barriers. I always have. I always think, I wish we had that. So that's a totally fair question.
Totally fair question that he asked, and it got interpreted, and then there were suddenly these attacks asking the question of whether Turning Point was seeping with anti-Semitism, and how unfair to, after all the work that he has done to support your cause, turn your back on him and to call him an anti-Semite because you don't like a question that he asked that actually was being asked from the heart and with a little bit of rage toward this even being allowed to happen. We always have to hold our governments accountable in how they are responding.
And plenty of Israelis, some of whom I know, are asking that question, and why wouldn't they? So you said a minute ago that one of your concerns about having a news story or a public conversation defined by emotion is that it allows the people in charge to change our lives and to take.
She really said that? Man, a news story invoking emotion. You literally embarrassed yourself in front of Trump. You literally embarrassed yourself talking about George Floyd. You literally embarrassed yourself talking about Breonna Taylor. You literally embarrassed yourself about the riots. I'm sorry, the protests. The riots were caused by white people. You literally embarrassed yourself doing that. You embarrassed yourself talking about the transgender issue, so much so YouTube took away your monetization for a while. And told the Daily Wire, if you show up on that panel and we watch it and she's there, they're going to lose their monetization. You literally embarrassed yourself talking to Andrew Tate after he got arrested. But you're just a person that doesn't bring emotion into a news story. Yeah, cool. Now we see why you don't like it. Why you like it when black people get deleted by the cops. We understand. But I'm sure you're going to tell me you don't like that. You don't want to see anybody get deleted. Normal citizens, because you're not going to say black people. Normal citizens, doesn't matter what color, or police officers. Maybe one day if I ever get to talk to her, I want to ask her how she feels about what Chris Dorner did.
Away our civil liberties because we're so distracted by the rage that we feel or the sympathy that we feel. I mean, these are some good feelings too, but we can be manipulated during moments like this. Here, case in point, here's a woman who is running for president, the former governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley, explaining that because of these attacks on October 7th, the rest of us need to register with the government in order to express our opinions online. Here she is.
When I get into office, the first thing we have to do, social media accounts, social media companies, they have to show America their algorithms. Let us see why they're pushing what they're pushing. The second thing is every person on social media should be verified by their name. That's, first of all, it's a national security threat. When you do that, all of a sudden people have to stand by what they say, and it gets rid of the Russian bots, the Iranian bots, and the Chinese bots. And then you're going to get some civility when people know their name is next to what they say.
You can, no. Can I talk for the American people for a second? We love it when people do their investigations and find out when people say shit, and we find out who you are. That's one of the best things on the internet. I don't want to get rid of that. 2, that's social credit score from China. We not finna do that. We're not gonna do that. But they use the trigger word bot. And the dumb white vote, you know, that vote that's going to doom us all, is going to sit up there and say, you know what, Nikki is right. She's so right. You know what? If Trump runs and he gonna become president, I want Nikki Haley to be my vice president. She way better than Kamala. Did you know that Kamala sounds just like Cabal? We're not talking about the MK character from Mortal Kombat, because I have children and they asked me to buy them that game, so that's how I know that Cabal sounds like Cabal. Yeah. Okay. Now we good.
So Nikki Haley, this has been noted online, but it's not her real name, of course. It's a pseudonym. And so she's not even using a real name and telling us that we have to register with the government under our real names in order to give our opinions. That's obviously contrary to the First Amendment. I don't know why the anchor didn't say something about it to her, but sort of nodded.
Because it's your bosses, your old bosses at Fox News.
Accountability. But it's fascism, actually. So, like, why isn't Nikki Haley getting laughed off the stage?
Well, Nikki Haley is someone that I would describe as radical. She's a radical in this moment, and she's trying to present her opinions as not radical by hiding behind a terrorist attack, and it's not going to age well. So right now in this moment, people are like, this rhetoric is totally fine. You're going to look back in a year, people are going to say, actually, this was kind of crazy, some of the things that she said. You know, she, in my view, has become increasingly radical every time she even hits the debate stage. I don't even know what country she's running for president in.
Right.
And I think Vivek Ramaswamy called her out accurately, and based on even my own personal experiences with her, which I've documented on my podcast, as somebody who isn't looking to actually win president, doesn't want to become president of the United States. What she's looking to do is to secure certain contracts after she leaves the stage and she loses. And so for her, the motive are relationships that she's going to build and money that she's going to earn, as best evidenced by the fact that when Nikki Haley left her ambassadorship, she was broke, and now she's a millionaire, multimillionaire. And you have to ask how that happens. And Vivek Ramaswamy has had the courage to talk about her contract with Boeing. So her concerns are not about American citizens whatsoever.
So you like pocket watchers? She likes pocket watchers. Must be nice. That's a doxer's wet dream, pocket watching.
Which is why it's all about sort of kowtowing to the person that I think that she believes, or to people that she believes can write her the biggest checks. That's been my assessment of Nikki Haley from the very beginning. It's still my assessment now. Take it or leave it.
But you've been attacked for saying that. And in fact, she's not hardly alone in that. I mean, a lot of politicians, in fact, almost all politicians respond to their donors. It is, I mean, I'm not attacking anybody, but that's just a feature of the business, right? So you say, well, Nikki Haley is responding to her donors, and all of a sudden that's like blood libel or something.
It's foolish, and I won't play the game. Obviously, money is motivating for a lot of politicians in DC.
And political pundits such as yourself.
That never leave. I mean,
you think?
Seriously, it's common sense. And yet sometimes people try to twist that narrative and pretend that what you're saying cannot be said, because in this moment right now, she's being pro-Israel. So you can't talk about Nikki Haley and money, even though I spoke about this way before October 7th from the second.
Actually, you can. It's just you guys are too pussy to do it.
She announced that she was running. Yes. I talked about my personal experience with her and how much she was charging for speaking fees. At the time, it was $300,000 plus a private plane for her to go anywhere to speak after she left her ambassadorship. And she came with a list of prepackaged questions. So her assistant at the time, you were not allowed to ask her one question off script. Any person that hired Nikki Haley at this time will tell you this. So her answers are practiced, her answers are rehearsed. And her answers are rehearsed because she wants to make sure that she doesn't upset the people that are writing the checks. So I said that literally the day she announced she was running for president, and now all of a sudden something that I've been consistent on is being misconstrued as anti-Israel or anti-Semitic because Nikki Haley is being radically pro-Israel.
So it does concern me, however, because in American 2023, the only people defending the First Amendment, the foundational right, the right that precedes all other rights, which is the right to say what you really believe and prove you're not a slave, the right is the only group that defends that. And
how do you lie? The right is defending free speech? Are you serious? Are you serious? Oh boy. Again, you know what I'm going to say. Huh? That white vote will doom us all. Tucker, you're literally broadcasting on a platform where free speech is not being defended. Because if free speech was being defended, Twitter would look like how it was in the late 2000s. Everybody would be able to get off. That's owned by somebody who identifies with conservative values, Elon Musk, and he allows white supremacists to get off all day. But when black people come to defend themselves, they get their tweets limited. We have to talk code speak just to get over and get our point across. The right is defending free speech so much. I literally this morning woke up and saw what they did in DC, and the right is sitting there saying that they all should be prosecuted like you did January 6th. I thought it was free speech because you assholes 2 years ago were saying that what they were doing was exercising their First Amendment rights, and nobody wanted to hear that. You keep saying the right wants to defend free speech, yet literally oh boy, I can't even believe I'm about to say this. You want to defend free speech so much. Black people telling you what's happening out here and how the shit is real. You say we're woke and people shouldn't listen to us. Your best buddy just said 10 minutes ago, she did a story about black kids saying what they want to say at a $50,000 a year school, and she had a problem with it. How is that defending free speech? You should be applauding them, especially because they're black. Y'all not Greta Thunberg all day. Now, granted, she's in Europe, but you want to keep it here, we can keep it here. If you love free speech so much, you should allow everybody to get off and use this higher IQ that you love to tell us that y'all have over us and debate the issues. But y'all only code a crime because you think just because you can pull up some charts that I win, you lose, and that per capita be kicking y'all's ass. And then when we prove to y'all that per capita is BS and show you how per capita actually makes y'all look worse, then y'all don't want to talk no more. But all right. But all right. Y'all defend free speech. The same group who watched a transsexual get a bear endorsement and said, I'm not going to let y'all do that to my beer. I ain't going to buy it. It's free speech. It's freedom of expression. Torian, that is a great idea. That will be on Monday. Thank you. I was debating a show, what I should do for Monday, since it's Thanksgiving. Yes, we will debunk per capita and break that shit down. Just like I broke down Thomas Sowell and they got pissed off at me, we're going to piss them off again. I'm going to break down per capita and show how BS it is. We're going to do that. Free speech. Hey, Tucker, you want to defend free speech so much, they threw you off out of a high-paying gig because you were talking. But all right. Y'all want to defend free speech. I told you that white vote will switch. They'll switch depending on the issue, boy. Damn.
Now they're not. Now they're saying, well, actually, maybe you need to register with the government before you're allowed to talk. So if the left's obviously opposed to the First Amendment, now a lot of the right is opposed to the First Amendment. So, like, how do we keep the First Amendment?
Yeah, I think this kind of is almost what Trump was referring to when he talks about the swamp. You know, they get a little taste of what they can earn for themselves, and they kind of go further into this, and actually doesn't become about America at all. And I think at this particular moment, you are seeing a fracturing on the right. There are people that are pro-America, America first. I am a person that considers myself pro-America, America first. And it absolutely makes my skin crawl when people try to tie America's success to what we have to do overseas. I believe in national sovereignty.
No, they tie it to what y'all did to black folks
at home to be a great nation. And actually, I think history sort of tells us that once we started this campaign of international liberalism following World War II, things kind of started falling apart, especially this a steep decrease following the 1960s without question. I mean, socially, morally, economically, this has been a nation that's in decline. And so I cannot stand when I see these politicians on stage emoting and saying sentences like, we can do both. Look around you. Does it look like we can do both? Where is your evidence to support the claim that America can do both? Because I'm looking around and it's very clear, it's very obvious that we cannot do both. Our children are failing academically. People are fearful to go into inner city.
Whose fault was that? When you underserve the kids, whose fault is that? When you're beholden to teachers' unions, whose fault is that? When y'all shut down whole states during C-19 and the kids had to go learn on Zoom with bad internet problems, whose fault was that? I've been on record, family. For those who didn't hear me before, I've been on record saying what they should have done was shut down for 2 months, clean all them damn buildings, and get people back to work in school. I'm on record saying this multiple times. But nah, y'all didn't want to do that. Y'all was sitting there pissing at each other, trying to figure out who was right, and the children suffered. Now, in the next decade or so, we're going to have to deal with a graduating class of children that have less skills than the ones that came before them in this technological age. Whose fault was that? I blame all of you, from the government down to the political pundits. Instead of thinking about the kids, y'all were pissing at each other.
Communities. We have people that are suffering from depression, overdosing on fentanyl. We're fundamentally an unhappy nation because we don't have an identity because of these things. We don't have an identity. We've completely lost what it means to be an American. It is why I feel very inspired when I hear someone like Vivek Ramaswamy speak and talk about American principles.
Oh,
I hate
Lord.
the way that they illustrate
Oh,
their
my
opinions
God.
about people that
You
want that old America, that are nostalgic about that America. When someone says,
They're nostalgia about that old America. You hear her? You brought a Vivek softer than Japanese cake and old America. We know what that means. But Soul Survivor, you asking questions. You asking questions. Okay, we're gonna help you. You want to know how she feels, how she looks herself in the mirror. Well, we're gonna help. We're gonna help. That's how she looks. Well, go ahead, Candace.
and I've heard of this statement, I can't remember who said it, but you can't be pro-American unless you're pro-Israel. I just thought of the person who's probably in West Virginia who had both his legs blown off, right, fighting overseas, who is pro-American, and you're telling him that no, unless you agree that every single war should be everywhere, you're not pro-American. We've lost our identity. I mean, that's completely a foolish thing to say. And I say this as somebody who, if I was going to be radical anything, I'm probably radically pro-UK, right? I married a Brit, my children.
That sounds like a traitor to me. She's radically pro-UK. Then you should go there. You and your husband should pack up the kids and the nanny, sell your nice big house in Tennessee, and go move to the UK. I think Tom Cruise is over there too. You should go over there. Idris is over there too. You should go. You should seriously go. You seem very happy when you go over there. You should move to the UK.
Have dual citizenship, I would never utter the sentence that to be pro-America means to be pro-British. I love the Brits. I love everything about, I love being in the United Kingdom, but I know what it means to be pro-American. It means to be pro-American.
I couldn't even, someone
There's Americans that live in Britain, so you should go over there. Y'all can start on the whole little fan club.
Ancestors from the UK. I couldn't agree more.
We shall call it the union jack-offs.
You got to kind of wonder where this is going now that, basically no one in the establishment in Washington is for the front runner in the Republican presidential primaries. Trump gets the nomination. Like, what happens then?
I think you're going to probably see the same things that we saw in 2015 and 2016. I think there has always been a never Trump contingent.
Right.
It has manifested itself now as pro DeSantis. A lot of the never Trumpers became, very pro DeSantis.
Yep.
Some elements of it, obviously, people that are war hawks, people that want to kind of keep the military industrial complex going
Right.
everywhere,
People who
have always
endorse
been anti-Trump. So,
hate speech laws.
yeah, hate speech laws that are dressed up as something more noble. And it's like, no, this is actually a law that is fundamentally anti-speech. And if you want to debate that, we can, and we should have that debate. But again, always seems to be reduced to smears and libels and not an academic discussion, which it should be. So I don't think this is new. I think it's just kind of reappeared as something else. And we have always had these people. Will they, when they get to the ballot box, vote against Trump principally? Well, they did it in 2015 and 2016, and it didn't have an impact. And I think in 2020, they probably, I don't know if they cast their votes for Biden. I don't know that they would. I have taken myself out of political prognostications entirely.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, I think,
Wise.
now. Yeah, because I obviously am always hoping that America wins at the ballot box. People are
No, you, like a lot of people, got it wrong, and you saw your bottom line take a hit. Why don't you just tell the truth, man? I told y'all, whoever loses that election, whatever side loses that election, that side has to get better with their messaging. The Democrats won. Y'all did not change your message. Y'all was sounding like y'all sounded in the 2010s. And that's the reason why nobody's resonating with y'all. This is why you can't get outreach the way that the Democrats are. Because y'all don't want to talk to people. Y'all don't want to update the messages. Y'all want to play the old boys club. We don't care about old white men no more. We don't. And y'all's younger generation of Republicans / conservatives, y'all are not outside. Candace Owens, you could have easily done this interview with a black commentator. There's conservative black commentators out there you could have easily done this with. You could have went on your brother Tatum Tot show and had this conversation. You could open yourself up to come talk to black people. Not all of us are going to sit up there and hit you with insults. We're actually going to let you have conversations. We will push back on you, but we'll actually have a conversation. But y'all are too scared to have it because you know you're going to slip up and say something that you weren't supposed to say, and you're going to get checked on it, and it's going to hit harder because everybody knows when you come down to black media, you better be on your P's and Q's because, again, the outside world thinks we're dumb, like we're not aware of things that are going on when we are some of the most aware people on earth, and we remember shit. You come see us. Not only you better be on your P's and Q's, but just like with what's going on in the world, you're going to start realizing that we were the ones that are right. And most of your talking points come from us. But again, I cut you off. Go ahead. I'm telling you, this face right here, this is when her kids mess around and start singing. This is a face where she catch one of her kids singing Nicki Minaj. She said, you guys were supposed to be listening to the Beatles. She's like, no, mommy, I want to listen to Nicki Minaj. That's the face she gonna have.
are focused on American initiatives, are focused on wanting citizens to be successful here, not making them feel guilty about wanting to feed their families, not making them feel guilty about what they're seeing at the gas station that they can't afford, despite the fact that they do what they're supposed to do day in and day out. They wake up, they go to work 9 to 5, and the government is taking everything and telling them that there's some new moral crusade. Every time you blink, there's a new moral crusade. How many have we lived through in just the last 2 years? COVID, it was a global moral
But
crusade.
Food prices are never a moral crusade. I
Never,
noticed.
never. God forbid you want to be able to afford a pack of bacon for your family. God forbid you say that publicly. Depending on what time of year it is, that makes
Man, bacon just started going up the last year. What are you talking about? Nobody ever complained about bacon until the last year. But again, the nanny does the shopping. You just get the invoice. I get it.
you a grandma killer, that makes you whatever, a pro-Putin puppet, it makes you an anti-Semite, it makes you a racist. We get it, okay? We still would like to focus on our families. We still would like to put American principles first. So if there's no further argument and it's just going to be smears and libels, we like to turn the chapter and get talking about how we can
She's talking about Israel and Hamas, and she brought up bacon. I just found that funny.
actually do that, how we can actually fix
Who
America.
do you listen to when you're trying to figure out? I mean, some of the stuff comes at you so fast, and you're talking almost every day or writing almost every day. Who do you read or listen to try to make sense or bounce ideas off of?
You know,
Who do you
I
trust?
have been obsessed with Thomas Sowell.
No medicine, there'd be no mayonnaise. No medicine, there'd be no mayonnaise. No medicine, there'd be no mayonnaise. No medicine, there'd be no mayonnaise.
This chick is funny as hell. She got to be a comedian, boy. I was laughing through the whole clip. She's not serious. Thomas Sowell's the first person. Thomas Sowell, the 93-year-old economist who knows nothing about social justice. That's who you listen to. That's who you pull up on YouTube. Oh my God. No. No. She's not serious. Oh man. Can we just call it fentanyl soul from now on? Not fentanyl for these black conservatives. We just call it fentanyl soul, fentasol. They be on this, man. You gotta be kidding me. Thomas Sowell. I literally packed up some supremacists trying to tell me I don't know nothing about Thomas Sowell, and I literally gave him 8 reasons why I don't with him. And the number one reason is supply side economics. And he ain't had shit to say. He ran. Thomas Sowell. So you agree with Thomas Sowell when he says supply side economics would be beneficial to this country, which basically means that you should raise taxes on corporations and that'll incentivize them to be more innovative and help the economy. Really? Because I just saw a video of Amazon laying off 200 workers. Made them turn in their badges and everything. Thomas Sowell. The government plant. Go ahead.
Everybody knows that I am pretty much a Thomas Sowell groupie. Everything he writes, I read. And it is because he was a part of my awakening story.
So if he says that everything I said was wrong or stolen, how you going to feel about that?
Politics and made me focus on the economics, which is to say block out the noise and pay attention to the economics, go backwards in history to understand where we are. When has this worked? Oh, it's never worked. So they're telling you that it's going to work into the future, and there's no evidence to support that. So I think a lot of times in this environment, it's important to almost block out the noise and to focus on the things that matter. The economic debates that people are having right now, which don't make sense. How much more debt can America be in as you're trying to convince us that we're going to get out of it if we just commit to one more war? By the way, where is all this money going? It's incredible to me that the government has the ability to reach into our accounts and to read every single line of what we spend down to your Zelle payments and your PayPal, and yet we just can't get an accounting for how they're spending their money. It's incredible when tech works and when tech fails people. I would say in terms of being inspired by people I am very much inspired for different reasons, and people will find this very weird. Obviously, I've been very open about the fact that I've been tremendously inspired by you in my career, and I'm not just saying about you. I've said this long before. Tucker
That Tucker look just now is a meme.
Unleashed has been the greatest thing. It is something that we have needed, and it's been a great addition to the American campaign. I also am inspired by Elon Musk. He is so different from me, and we probably have very little in common. And yet, in this weird way, his fight for freedom, what he did for Twitter, is something.
Again, we've outlined his fight for Twitter. we actually outlined it. He's not a champion for free speech. He's a champion for fuckery.
There are no words to illustrate what that actually meant in terms of the global conversation. He is a hero. You know, if everything else that he did was bad, he would be measured as a good man, and that's my belief.
I agree with
I'm
that.
Inspired by people like Dana White.
Yeah.
The ability to, during BLM, absolutely love Dana White.
What about smacking his old lady?
People don't realize what sort of pressure was on him,
Yes.
to being the first person to say, we're not shutting down the UFC, allowing, by the way, which is something that is so beautiful, the differing opinions to take place at the
Oh,
UFC.
yeah.
He does not care if you come out in an Israeli flag, a Palestinian flag, a BLM flag, a pro-America flag, and then the press will put pressure on him, and you hear.
You know why? Because the UFC is a global company, ma'am. It's not like it's just fighters from America. They get fighters from every continent. He's not going to tell another continent outside of America what to stand for and what to believe in. The hell?
They're going to bash each other as soon as they get into the octagon. What are we going to tell them what they're going to think? You know, that means something. These are little battles that we're winning, and people are fighting them on different fronts. And these are the cultural people, the political people. Thomas Massey, for being the most consistent congressman in terms of what he supports and what he doesn't support, is someone else that I admire. So there are a lot of different people that I admire, but I think what they all have in common is an underlying belief in freedom and a hatred for people who are trying to tell you it's freedom when they are trying to censor you. And
Hurricane IQ. Wait, was it Hurricane IQ? No, I'm sorry. Sir Nick, you said it's weird she looped BLM into this part of the conversation because she thinks that she's the one that broke open BLM. No. The person who broke open BLM was Darren Seals. She wants to have credit for being the one on the right to expose BLM. Again, most of us understood what BLM was saying, but we didn't rock with the organization once we started seeing things that Darren Seal was eliminated. And then the recordings came out of what he found out. Well, fine. Live in your delusions, Candace. Go ahead.
To belittle you and to smear you and to libel you.
It does feel, I mean, I'm going to end with this, but just your gut level sense of who's winning and who's losing right now. It seems to me, maybe I'm lying to myself, that the kind of moderate, sensible, common sense oriented people who want basically all the same things, a happy, stable, safe life for their families, they do seem to be winning.
What I want to say to those people, because I know that sometimes you wonder if the world has gone mad. The world hasn't gone mad. Some people with big platforms who have gone mad. But it will always pay in the long run to stay on the side of morality, to be, moderate in your opinions, to not ever fault yourself for wanting to feed your family first.
Yes.
It makes perfect sense. I would never rush over while my child was dying and starving and feed the neighbor's child.
No.
Right? I would feed my child first, and if there was leftovers, I would obviously accommodate the person next door, and that's called being charitable. And I want those people to know that I do feel what you are feeling. And I think that we are in a unique time in America. I think the cultural conversation is switching. I think more people are beginning to buck bad trends. And the more of us who stand up for that morality, the more people that will be encouraged by that standing up and who will join us.
Do you find yourself thinking about God more than you used to?
Yes, without question.
Really?
Yes, it is just one of those things. I've never been more confident in who I am as a person. And I think that needs to be said. And a couple of years ago, or I would even say just getting started in politics, it's a wild world. And you do realize that people do sell out. You do realize that there are people that don't have courage to say certain things. There's a lot of backhanded messaging and texting that's going on because people have aligned themselves to groups and not principles, which I think is wrong. But something changed for me spiritually when I got married and when I had children. And I would say that I became laser focused. And I've never felt more secure. I've never felt more sure that I will land on my 2 feet if I follow a path that I deem to be righteous. And I am not speaking these things to myself. That's God.
Cool. Do me a favor, because God is about man having free will. Leave the Daily Wire. Let's see you put your thoughts together, but realize that every word, syllable, and phrase you say from that point on controls your money. Let's see you do it. Impress us. Give us a year of Candace Owens content that is just as groundbreaking, their words, not mine, or as thought-provoking as you've been doing under the umbrella of all these white companies. Let's see it. And let's see if people really care.
Operating as God that is operating, and it is the call upon all people to be righteous in their approaches to things, and that can be very difficult in politics. But I'm confident, and I think people are either very angry about that confidence. I think they can see the happiness that I have, and they're angry because that means that it's less of an ability to control what I say and to control what I think. But I'm still the same girl from the wrong side of the tracks. I understand people, and I can't sell out to anybody. I demand to be free.
It's not an arrogant, false confidence. It's real. And I find it inspiring. Candace Owens, thank you very much.
What an honor. I'm so
And congratulations
excited.
on this baby. I can't overstate. I don't want any tight shots on Candace, but like we're days away.
Yeah, literally minutes away.
The fire department's on standby. Candace Owens, what an honor. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. That was the interview they had last night. What y'all think about that? She brought up Thomas Sowell 5 times. That's funny as hell. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. JB's, I think the interview was shit. Cordell Lewis, good morning. How many times did she have to get her wake up call? She's the biggest simp for white people I've ever seen. It's funny they never bring up Thomas Sowell name when the economy is trash. Well, the economy is trash now. Oh boy. But anyway, I wonder. Let's see what the general consensus was. Mike 4282, you ain't shit for that comment. I thought this Thomas Sowell interview was interesting. Oh, Caitlyn Jenner's the first one. Of course, she said it. Thank you, Tucker Carlson, Justin B. Wells, for giving the incredible real Candace Owens the opportunity to share her side and the facts with your millions of viewers. God bless you, Candace. You are critical to the MAGA conservative movement. Keep being authentically you. Thank you for watching and support this dialogue. This is what Candace said. MAGA conservative. Didn't even correct her on it. Tucker Carlson sat down with Candace and let her speak. Our news media will never be able to compete versus X platform approach. We hate commercials at BS spin. Let the guests talk. We get a much better feel for their honesty. Great job, Tucker. Give it time. There will be commercials. Give it time. Joey Manarino. Ben Shapiro is really not worth listening to anymore. Tucker needs to go daily. Why? Did y'all have like 15 years of that? Tucker Carlson on X is doing more real news than any of the legacy media combined. It's not even close. That's why more people watch his episodes here. They watch any of the MSN anchors. Carlson is a true American patriot, and if Trump picks him as VP, it will be epic. Sure. This made me respect her even more. Sure. This is a refreshing interview that made me take pause and consider different perspectives on current events. Uh-huh. And they're sucking her off. As real as it gets, this gives me hope and courage to speak my heart. Thank you. Truly, thank you. Real Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. Mm-hmm. Sure, and this forced you to talk. Okay. All right. Gays for Trump. I don't think Candace Owens will be working at Daily Caller much longer. They came out right now. Sounds like a Klan meeting. We good. Whoo. Tucky. You going whatever the hell you want. I can care less. So draining watching these people suck up to each other. Well, they do it on the left, they do it on the right. It's all theater. When is a group therapist going to break down her extreme self-hate and her hate for black people? Never, because she won't go talk to them. Never. But, you know, it is what it is. That's correct. Conservatives can't read the room, and the white vote will doom us all. They are definitely going to doom us all. This is all we hear. That's how they sound. That white fragility, boy. I don't know. You intrigued me, though. You intrigued me, Soul Survivor. You intrigued me. I said, let me look something up. Because she invoked that man name 5 times. I don't see a picture with them together. Who remembers this? Who remembers this Mezegun on Mezegun violence right here? This was good violence. This was good violence right here. What did you apologize for? I thought the great Candace Owens doesn't apologize. Oh, Dave Chappelle apologized for calling Candace Owens articulate. Okay, say less. Guess the way they wrote that, I was getting happy. Oh. Mm-hmm. But anyway, this was fun. I don't know what the hell she was talking about the whole time, but it was fun. So it's like she reads a Willie Lynch letter every night, applies it to her daily life. No, she turns over and sees $250 million laying down next to her. And she's like, I made it. It's all good, family. We understand. It's all good. All right, family. I gotta get ready to go to the plantation. I appreciate y'all coming in here. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, I did my job. If not, I'll try to do better next time. I'll give y'all a break tomorrow because I got a lot of things to do. I shall see y'all probably Monday unless something pops off. We will be discussing per capita. I think it's time. And you thank Brother Torian Rain for that one. We're going to have fun with that. Cordell was saying, who's a bigger sellout, her or Thomas Sowell, the economist? That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a very good question. Well, Candace Owens did say all black people do is cry racism. Thomas Sowell said later after talking to Biden and them, fuck. I said his name.
Insult to my existence.
I would have to say the bigger sellout is I'm probably gonna have to say Thomas is the bigger sellout because he the fact that all these conservative black folks keep bringing this man's name up on TV, that need to be studied, like somebody said. Because there's no way Thomas Sowell has this much power over y'all. No way. I'd have to say Thomas Sowell. Because without him, we don't have Larry Elder around. We don't have the Candace Owens around. She'd still be on the left. Tatum Tots would be still a cop. ABL, he probably don't go online like that. I'd have to say Thomas Sowell. You said you ever think Candace's husband regrets marrying her? No. Listen, he's got enough money to leave her. No. I would say I think he genuinely loves her. Because after that whole fiasco with the interior designer, he could have rode out. But he actually gave her another kid. So I think that's actually love. He inspired them to get on the anti-black grift for money. Well, again, he's a government plan. He was part of the Fairmont Conference. So it makes sense. Anyway, yeah, let me get up out of here. It's time. All right, y'all. I will see y'all on the next. Take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence and ruin your day.